guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a couple of cards using this Nuts About You stamp set from Simon Says Stamp and Neat and Tangled, and this Echo Park Fall is in the Air 6x6 paper pad. And I'm going to be coloring these in with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens. So I've got a paper towel off to the left and my little dish of water off to the right with my paintbrushes. I'll be putting the numbers up at the top of the screen in case you are curious about the colors I'm using as I go along. So I'm starting out with my number 62 dark brown, and I'm just laying in where I want the deepest shadows to be, and then I'm going right along the edge of that with the number 60 brown, which is a lot more reddish tint to it, and just adding that on the inside of the dark brown so that I can pick that up with my water on my paintbrush. This is a number 6 round. These are the black velvet brushes by the Silver Brush Company. And I'll actually be switching back and forth between the number 2, the number 4, and the number 6, just depending on how intricate the image is. But these all have really fine tips that make it really easy to do detail work. And I got my brushes from Dick Blick, but I believe Simon Says Stamp also carries them. I have a lot of images to color in since I'm making 2 cards, so I'm just going to be showing you one of each similar item. So I'm just doing like one of the squirrels on camera just to save time because the video was quite long, but I colored them at both exactly the same. And then I just go in and add my water and blend everything out. And if I pick up too much pigment, I just wipe some of that off on the paper towel and then go back in for some clean water. For the pumpkins, I'm going to use number 23 Scarlet Red for my darkest, and I'm just trying to accentuate those natural grooves. And then I'm going to blend that out a little bit with the number 70 Orange, and then I'll take the number 52 Bright Yellow and just blend all of that out with some water. And again, since there's quite a lot of color on there, if it gets a little bit too much, I'll just wipe it off on the paper towel and grab some fresh water so that I keep those nice bright areas vibrant. I'm going back to the 62 dark brown for my pumpkin stem. And I'll just blend that out with a touch of water. It doesn't take much since it's such a small area. And then I'm using number 43 olive green for my leaves. And just so you know, I am allowing a little bit of drying time between each step because I don't want my colors to bleed together. It dries pretty quickly though. It doesn't take more than just maybe a minute. For my Acorn Shells, I am using the 62 dark brown and then the 65 mid brown because I didn't want it to have the same reddish hue as my squirrels. And then for the actual nut, I'm going to use number 64 oatmeal and number 71 flesh color and just blend that out so it has a nice watercolory look. I use those same 2 shades to color in my to-go coffee cup and also for the squirrels' bellies. And now I'm using them to color in my large acorn. So I use the 64 oatmeal first for the darkest edges and then the 71 flesh color. And then I'm just going to blend it out with a lot of water. Just by varying the amount of pigment that you lay down and the amount of water that you blend it out with, you can get various shades with the same markers. So for the squirrel's scarf, I'm using 92 blue-gray and then 42 turquoise green and 36 light blue. And the reason I used that 92 blue-gray first is because the turquoise shades were a little bit bright for the pattern paper that I'm going to be using. So I just added that 92 blue-gray to kind of mute those shades a little bit. And then I'm adding 21 light carmine for the ears. I use 91 light gray for my coffee mug and also the sleeve on my to-go cup. And I use 24 wine red for the heart on the coffee sleeve. For the acorn top and the coffee inside the mug, I went back to my dark brown combo, so I used 62 dark brown and 65 mid brown for those. And went back to my 43 olive green for the tiny little leaf. I'm using my 65 mid brown to color the inner portions of the large acorn right around the squirrel's body. I'm taking my 64 oatmeal to just line the rim of the large acorn, and I'm not going to even blend that out with any water. I'm using my 62 dark brown on the top of my acorn there, and I'm just following the lines that the artist has drawn just loosely, just doing those little scallops, and then I'm going to blend that out with some water. I'm not going to even add a second shade. And I'll just extend that color up into the stem. And then I'm going to use number 43 olive green and number 46 mid green for my leaf. And that's going to complete the coloring, so I'll just let those dry a minute and then I'll die cut those out. So again, I'm using the Fall is in the Air 6x6 by Echo Park, and then I've got two card bases folded using some MFT hot cocoa cardstock, and I'm going to assemble these pretty much the same. So I'm using a strip at the top, and I'm just adhering that with some Tombow Mono multi-glue, and then I'm also going to add this scalloped border at the bottom, and that was die cut with the Lawn Fawn stitched scallop border dies. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere a fun print on each one. So this one is getting an acorn print, and the other one is going to get a pumpkin print. And those will match with the theme that I have for each card. For my focal panels, I've die cut two pieces of W+9's oatmeal cardstock with the MFT stitched wonky frames dies, and I have stamped a sentiment with some Lawn Fawn fake tan ink on the one on the left, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere some pumpkins down. And I'm just adhering those flat to the card with some Tombow Mono and making them look like there's a pile of pumpkins there. Just stacking them up. And then I'll add my squirrel right over top with some foam tape. And I'm going to give him the little mug in his hand, also with foam tape. And I'll just adjust that far right pumpkin just so the leaves are still picking out. I didn't want to hide them behind the coffee mug. For my second focal panel, I'm going to be using this large acorn with the squirrel inside, and I'm going to pop the whole thing up with foam tape, and then I'm going to take the additional acorns and stack those up with foam tape so that they look like they're in a pile. The last remaining acorn I'm going to add flat to the card with Tombow Mono again, so that it'll keep it relatively easy to mail. And then I'm going to add this Thanks a Bunch banner that also comes in that set. And I'm just going to layer that right over top of the pile of acorns. And then I can take both of those focal panels and adhere them straight to the card base with some more Tombow Mono. The one that has the pumpkins goes on the pumpkin card base, and the one that has the acorns goes on the acorn card base. As a final embellishment, I'm going to take some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte, and I'm going to squeeze a little bit out onto an acrylic block, and then I'm going to take some 4mm and 6mm sparkling clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just going to use my pick-me-up tool to dip those in the matte medium and adhere those all over the card front, just kind of scattering them across from the top left to the bottom right. Before we go, I just wanted to mention that this stamp set was an exclusive with Neat and Tangled and Simon Says Stamp for the Stamptember event, and it did sell out in record time, so unfortunately it's no longer available. But you guys know me and how much I love my squirrels, so I really wanted to use it. But I did want to mention that if you just really love the style, these stamps were illustrated by my friend Elena Rosakis, who illustrates other stamp sets as well with Neat and Tangled, and they're coming out with some really cute sets for the holiday season, so I would definitely check those out. If you missed out on these, you still have an opportunity to pick up some other super cute images that look in the same style as these do. And I believe those stamp sets should be in the Butterfly Reflections ink shop on Friday. So that completes our cards. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed my last video, it's there for you on screen. You can just go ahead and click the little video clip and it'll take you right to it. Bye-bye.